Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Now then, in this video I'm going to be doing an oil and filter change, also an oil flush on my BMW M47 engine. Now this process is going to be the exact same for the M57 engine as well. Now my engine oil of choice is this Manol 5W30LL04. The oil filter we're going to be using is a Bosch one, and the engine flush we're going to be using is this Manol 9900. And we also have a new sump plug to go in as well. Okay then, so as you can see we have my M47 engine here, and the first thing I'm going to do is empty the entire contents of this engine flush into the oil. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and tip the entire thing in. And we'll reinstall our filler cap. And now what we need to do is get this thing fired up, because you need to let the engine idle for around 15 minutes or so, just so that the engine oil can circulate and it can actually reach up to operating temperature as well. Okay then, so I've let the car idle for around 15 minutes or so. It should be up to a decent temperature now. In the meantime, what I've done is got the car up in the air. I've got everything ready. I'm actually going to go ahead and start on the oil filter. It is located on this side of the engine, the intake side. And I believe this takes a 36mm socket, so it's quite a big socket to get on there. You can either use that or just a spanner or an adjustable wrench. Shouldn't be up too tight, it's only supposed to be 25 Newton meters, but obviously we're going to go ahead and crack this loose, and then what we'll do is let the oil drain back down into the sump. Now you can see I've removed the engine covers. You don't need to, but it does allow for a little bit better access, and if you want to clean around here as well, if you spill some oil, it just makes it a little bit easier. So yeah, let's go ahead and crack this loose now. So as you can see, the oil filter cap is now loose. I'm just going to let this drain back down into the sump, and after a minute or so of draining we can go ahead and fully remove the oil filter. So then, first inspection of the oil filter. I mean, it looks black, but that's kind of expected for, you know, diesel oil. It pretty much turns black as soon as it goes into the engine. You know, this filter isn't falling apart. The previous owner did say it had not long just had an oil change, so I guess that kind of rings true. But yeah, that's the oil filter now removed. So now we are underneath the car at the sump. Sump plug in our case is a 17mm, so we'll go ahead and crack this loose, and that's not tight, which is good. That means they haven't tighten that up with an impact wrench. But yeah, I've got my drain pan here, so don't know, I think this is going to kind of shoot out, so we'll try and remove this with as minimal mess as possible. Seems like a long plug. There we are. Yeah, it is a fairly long plug. That's nice and warm, that oil, which is good. And now what I'll do is just remove the oil filler cap just to help it drain a little bit easier. And I'll also go ahead and remove the dipstick as well. So I want to give this a good clean off. And whilst we let the oil drain, then we can get started on preparing our oil filter. So first thing to do then is remove the old original oil filter from the cap. There we are. Seem to be nice and wedged in there, but we've got it removed. And then what we need to do with the cap itself is remove any O-rings that we want to replace. Now there is actually 3 O-rings on this. There is one right on the end here, this one in the middle, and then the main one that seals the cap to the oil filter housing. Now, for whatever reason, in our new Bosch oil filter, we only have one O-ring and the copper crush washer for the sump plug. Now, I don't know if this is a standard thing, like if they don't usually include these smaller O-rings or not, but obviously I can't replace them. They look to me like they're in pretty good condition. We will give the whole thing a good clean up. But yeah, for now, the only thing that we can do is remove the big one, the main one, and yeah, swap this one out. Yeah, that's the old one removed then. I'll just give this a good wipe. There we are then, that's the oil filter cap, now nice and clean. Let's go ahead and install this main O-ring. I'll just put some fresh oil on here as well, just to stop it from pinching when we go to torque it down. There we are then, we'll just go ahead and slide it over. And into position. And there we are then. Okay then, so now we'll go ahead and install our new oil filter. The slots on and it should click in place. There we are. Now we can get this reinstalled back into the oil filter housing. Okay then, here we are, just drop it in. And now we'll go ahead and torque it down to 25 Newton meters. There we are. And I went ahead and cleaned the oil filler cap and also the dipstick as well, so we can go ahead and reinstall these. And now let's head back underneath the car. And by now then, the oil should have finished draining. So we'll go ahead and install our new sump plug with new crush washer. And it is the right size, which is good. We go ahead and tighten this down. And we can go ahead and again torque this down to 25 Newton meters. There we are, that's the new sump plug installed. I'm just going to give the area a good clean down. So then, as you can see, the car is now back on the ground. That's because the only thing left to do is fill this engine up with oil. Now, I believe it holds around 5.5 litres, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and put about 5 litres in and then check the dipstick. So then that is around 5 litres of engine oil added. We'll see what the dipstick is saying. I don't believe we're even on the marker yet. Oh no. We are. That's kind of hard to tell. I'll do it again. Kind of hard to tell. We'll get the engine fired up. I'm sure we have enough oil to fire it up, and then we will check it again. It's because some of the oil on the dipstick is black and some of it's clear, so it's hard to tell. We'll We'll go ahead and check the dipstick again then. Now the oil has settled down. Yeah, it's only just at the minimum now, so we definitely need to add more oil. Yep, just at the minimum. So I'll go ahead and put about half a litre in, and then we'll check what it's at. So it's about halfway between the minimum and the maximum now. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and add a little bit more in, probably like a quarter or another half a litre, and then we should be there or thereabouts then. There we are then, perfectly at the maximum. And with the oil up to the maximum mark on the dipstick then, that is this oil change done. Okay then, so that is the oil change done for the E46 with the M47 engine. Like I said, this process is the exact same pretty much when it comes to the M57 engine as well. If you are interested in the engine oil, the oil filter or the engine flush, then I will leave links down in the description box below for those. But I hope this video has been somewhat helpful. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please remember to give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one. Peace!